Hello and welcome back to The Broke Watchmaker. I hope the information in this video helps you on your watchmaking journey. In this video, we have a Gran watch. My research suggests these watches were affordable when they first came out. I think I picked this one up for around $10 at an antique store. It looks nice and has stood up the time well. We'll use the rubber ball to loosen the case back. This one has a UT29 movement, which is a Universal Time brand, a subsidiary of Seiko. This movement is based on the 6600 family with some modifications. You can see the similarities here. The 66B has one large bridge, while the UT29 has it broken into two bridges. This movement ring comes out with some resistance. The movement just falls out of the case. We'll put some plastic down to protect the dial while removing the hands. Loosening the watch dial feet screws, we can then take the dial off. While the face looks good, the back has some scratches. This dial is made from aluminum, another way to decrease costs. Now we remove the hour wheel. I will use this knockoff Presto tool to remove the cannon pinion. Remove the retaining plate. Looks like my screwdriver needs to be demagnetized. The minute wheel, intermediate wheel, and motion works come out. Notice on this setting lever plate, the two screws are different sizes. They will need to be replaced properly later. The setting lever is two separate pieces. On to the watchmaker's side. First, we will let down the mainspring. There's not much power in this one, but better safe than sorry. To prevent any damage to the balance assembly, we will remove it before working on anything else. I will place the balance screw and assembly in its own compartment so I know they go together. Now to remove the ratchet wheel. The click and click spring in this movement are made differently than any I've seen before. The click spring is difficult to remove. Did you see it? Me either. Luckily, I felt where it landed. That's some luck. To remove the crown wheel, it is a left-hand thread. The 3 lines on the top denote this. Not all left-hand screws are made like this, so you have to be careful when removing any screw. Also, keep in mind the crown wheel has a recess on the top. Now we'll remove the screws for the wheel bridge. Be careful when removing the bridge. Some wheels can be stuck in the holes. Looks like the center wheel has a small washer on it. Fourth wheel comes out. Now we remove the pallet fork bridge and pallet fork. The escape wheel is next. Time for the barrel bridge to come off. The barrel comes out easily and falls right down. Next, we remove the minute wheel bridge. It seems a bit tighter than the others. Here are all the parts in the tray, ready to go in the cleaning baskets. Notice they are kept in groups depending where they came from. Removing the mainspring from the barrel can be a bit tricky. You can see here it flings the barrel away. Let's see that again in slow motion. Luckily it didn't go far. The mainspring looks to be in decent shape. I'll reuse this one. I'll roll it up and place it in the basket with the main plate. Off to the cleaning machine. I have one cleaning jar with naphtha, two rinsing jars with 99.9% IPA, and a heated drying section. The balance and palette fork are cleaned separately so the shellac doesn't dissolve in the alcohol. After cleaning, we'll replace the mainspring in the barrel. I'll use the mainspring winders I've 3D printed. For a more in-depth look at how to use these, check out my video on screen now. Let's hear as the mainspring is inserted into the barrel. That is satisfying. Oiling the arbor with D5. Here comes another satisfying. Capillary action to oil the upper part of the arbor. Now on to reassembly. We'll oil the minute wheel hole and reassemble the wheel and bridge. Capillary action used again for this part. And clean it up a bit with some Rodico. The escape wheel, third wheel, and center wheel are installed. With a bit of oil on the center wheel. I've already placed the small washer on the center wheel, but didn't get a shot of it. Here's a little trick I learned from another channel, the tap trick. Boom. No fussing around trying to get pivots in place. I love it. We'll place the mainspring barrel in place. And then add the barrel bridge. This is a technique I use sometimes. I use my tweezers to turn the screws most of the way down. I'll oil the hole the click pivots in. And now the dreaded click spring. This is one of the more difficult installs on this movement. The spring is actually under tension all the time with the back end in the hole. Hurry up and get the ratchet wheel on. Oil the crown wheel post and the race it sits on. As well as the recess on the wheel itself. Remember, this screw is left-handed. Now on to the pallet fork, making sure the bottom pivot is in place. I got super lucky, the bridge went right on and into place immediately. The pallet fork faces were oiled off camera as my microscope showed up too late for this video. Alright, here comes the moment of truth. Will it still run? It is begging to run. Yes! I didn't mess anything up. That's one of the best feelings in watchmaking. Alright, let's oil this thing. I'm gonna wrestle with this diaphyx spring, since they were designed by the devil in a special corner of hell reserved for torturing watchmakers. A small dab of oil on this jewel face and then drop it into place. More fighting. The balance setting is much easier to deal with. It has a Diashock spring. With a capstone and a chaton. Two tweezers so the spring won't fly off into oblivion. Back to the dial side, I've oiled the jewels off camera. It's basically the same for both sides. Now we oil the different parts for the setting and winding works. The setting lever pivot and setting lever are installed. Followed by the cannon pinion. Next are the winding clutch and pinion that have some 9504 blue grease. I'll grease the locations that are metal on metal with high friction. Next is the clutch lever for the winding pinion. Followed by the setting lever cover plate. Remember, this plate had 2 different size screws. We need to install them in the proper places. Some footage was corrupted, so I don't show the cover plate being installed. Here's the hour wheel being installed. Testing the winding works. Looks good to me. Now let's put the dial back on. We'll blow the dial off and install the hands. Making sure they don't interfere with each other or touch the indices. I'll recase it and silicone the gasket. Demag time. "24 hours, let's see how it runs." I'll use the watch accuracy meter from the Google Play Store. I'm not going to set the lift angle here. We'll just check the rate and beat error. Seems pretty consistent in all positions. Let's adjust it. All right, looking good. We'll put the case back on and get a bracelet on it. All in all, this is a decent little watch for the small amount I paid for it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.